April 18th, 2021, 7:40 p.m., Outback, Australia. Ethan Clark, an Australian man, was driving down a desolate stretch of the Outback Highway, heading home to Adelaide after a thrilling racing event. As the road stretched out before him, he noticed something bizarre. A shadowy figure standing still in the middle of the road. Dressed in a faded green jacket, it looked like a child trying to cross the highway. Ethan was driving at nearly 60 miles per hour, 96 kilometers per hour, and towing a caravan, making it impossible to stop or swerve in time. The conditions were risky, and any sudden movement could have caused a crash. Ethan made the decision to continue driving and narrowly avoided hitting the figure. He and his friend, who was in the passenger seat, were left shaken. Fearing a child was stranded in the middle of nowhere, Ethan's friend quickly called the local authorities. The police assured them that they were dispatching a team right away. A few minutes later, Ethan decided to check the area on his own and returned to the scene, only to find no trace of the figure. Confused and unnerved, he uploaded the dashcam footage online, hoping to get some answers. But when the police responded, they contradicted what they had told him earlier. According to the authorities, they hadn't found anyone on the highway that night and had conducted an exhaustive search with no results. The question remained, what had Ethan and his friends seen that night? The case remained open, but the police offered no further details. Ethan couldn't shake the thought that maybe the figure wasn't human at all. May 8th, 2021, 2:30 a.m., Blackwood, Michigan. A TikTok user known as Sage Walker was out with friends late one night when they drove past a dark, eerie stretch of road. While cruising along the highway near the Blackwood River, one of her friends spotted a woman sitting on the road, shrouded in darkness. The woman appeared to be banging her own head on the pavement, disoriented and soaking wet, despite the freezing temperature. Unsure whether it was a trap or an emergency, Sage decided to circle back with her friends. This time, they saw the woman collapsed, not moving, her clothes soaked from head to toe. They were concerned about her health, but didn't want to risk getting too close. They dialed 911 and stayed in their car while waiting for the authorities to arrive. Hours later, the woman was taken to a nearby hospital. When Sage returned to the spot later that night, she found water dripping from the road, suggesting that the woman had just emerged from the river. A few hours later, it was revealed that the woman had been missing for several days, having vanished without a trace. Her name was Naomi Green, a 26-year-old woman from a nearby town, who claimed to have had disturbing visions about being followed by a man she couldn't identify. The investigation into Naomi's disappearance turned chilling when local residents recalled seeing her wandering the streets days before she was found, acting strangely. Naomi later admitted she had been experiencing severe mental distress and hallucinations, possibly brought on by an unreported stalker. She had driven into Blackwood, becoming disoriented before collapsing on the road. What led Naomi to believe she was being followed, and how did she end up on the edge of the river, remains a mystery. She couldn't remember the events clearly, and the investigation raised more questions than answers. Naomi later claimed she was followed by someone with a dark shadow, but no one ever found proof that she was being stalked. October 12, 2016, midnight, Sutherland, England. A family of 4 was heading back home from a fun night at the pub when they suddenly encountered a man in a white mask on an empty road. The man stepped out of the bushes, blocking their path. He was dressed in a suit with a white mask that covered his entire face, leaving only small holes for his eyes. Initially, the driver thought it was a prank, but as the man approached, holding something in his hand, the family realized it was far from funny. The masked figure waved for them to stop, and when the driver tried to reverse, the man began chasing their car on foot. The family, terrified, tried to speed away, but the masked man seemed relentless. This wasn't the first encounter in the area. Just a few days earlier, a local resident named Charles Wood had been attacked by a masked man. The man had brandished a knife and made threatening gestures before disappearing. The police had been on high alert, and the family in the car feared the worst as they tried to escape. After an intense chase, the masked figure disappeared into the night. The family, shaken by the ordeal, later learned that the person behind the attacks was never found. Could it have been a random prank gone wrong, or was there something darker at play? June 2nd, 2018, Odessa, Texas. Officer Rachel Matthews of the Odessa Police Department was on her way home from a long shift when she saw something strange on the road. A woman in a pink shirt was lying motionless on the pavement. At first, Officer Matthews thought the woman was unconscious or had been in a serious accident. But when she approached the woman, she suddenly sat up, startling Rachel. The woman, later identified as Allison Brooks, had no recollection of how she had gotten there. She had crashed her car into a nearby ditch and, in a dazed state, wandered onto the road. Tests revealed that Allison had been drinking heavily, and the trauma from the crash caused her to act erratically. Her strange behavior, which included lying in the middle of the road, was a result of her disorientation caused by both the accident and her intoxication. It was a miracle she hadn't been run over by a passing vehicle, but the officer's quick thinking saved her life. February 26, 1946, Texarkana, Texas. Jimmy Thompson and his girlfriend, Lucy Harris, were enjoying a late-night drive when they stopped on a quiet road outside of Texarkana. Unbeknownst to them, they were about to become the targets of a masked figure who would change their lives forever. A man in a plain white sack with 2 eye holes appeared and demanded they get out of the car. When Jimmy hesitated, the man drew a knife and attacked. The masked figure knocked Jimmy unconscious and chased Lucy into the woods, but the couple managed to escape. After a few days, the police discovered another young couple murdered in the same area, killed by the same type of weapon. The residents of Texarkana were gripped by fear, and no one knew who was behind the attacks. The masked man, dubbed the Texarkana Phantom, disappeared into the night, leaving behind only fear and confusion. January 8, 2024, Santa Fe, New Mexico. A truck driver was driving along a deserted stretch of highway when he saw 2 people dragging something across the road. As he swerved to avoid them, the figures vanished before his eyes. When he stopped and looked around, he saw nothing but the empty road. What were they dragging? Was it a person or something else entirely? The mystery remains unsolved, leaving the truck driver haunted by the encounter. September 16, 2018, Long Island, New York. As an Uber driver, Alex Reynolds thought he had seen it all until one night he was almost involved in a violent road rage incident. A car zoomed past him at high speed and then slammed on the brakes, blocking his path. The driver got out and approached Alex's car, demanding he get out. Alex, not wanting to escalate the situation, backed up and tried to get away. But the other driver followed him relentlessly, no matter where he went. Fortunately, Alex encountered a police officer just in time, and the aggressive driver was arrested for driving under the influence. The driver, it turned out, was highly intoxicated and had been chasing Alex for no clear reason. These stories leave us with more questions than answers, each encounter filled with strange twists, unexplained events, and unsettling mysteries. Whether it's a phantom in the night, a woman who can't remember her past, or a masked attacker on the road, the unknown continues to haunt those who've experienced these chilling encounters.